to my video essay all about the whole aspect of digital video technology. Part 1. The use of generated content allows the viewer to be creative in a way. This factor Bob and Head's advert is getting the fans involved by posting themselves singing to a well-known song. Celebrities get involved as well as fans of the show. With this is Animals Do the Funniest Things, which are interactive by sending clips of animals basically doing stupid things, their own imagination and how they want to present it to the audience. Another example of this is Trending Live, a part of 4 Music. Also What's Trending is a good example. It uses with its audience by getting them involved by viewing their videos on YouTube. Promotion is a way that this person sells the product by using interactive media. The policy Blown in the Wind advert is using interactive media, and the policy Blown in the Wind advert is using interactive media. A narrative is Fourth Wall, in which is associated around a book, and you have to keep reading the pages to understand what's going to happen. It shows a story that's interactive and involving you in a way that you are questioning what will happen. Well, it is a short narrative film called Escape. In some cases, fate on whether they live or die, as it asks you at the end of the clip where to go to avoid. It goes with what you have decided, as it's getting the viewer involved in interacting with the product. Media, in which some products can only be used for specific platforms through YouTube in order for you to play along platforms. For example, the Hot Wheels Custom Motors Cop to decide what features you put on the car to determine what position it will come in the race. Another example of a platform is outside billboards, the Google mobile search advert, and it comes to life. Someone putting his hand on the billboard. U38 is a platform that can be used as an interactive tool. For example, you can predict on Final Destination 3 if they live or die. Audience involved, and you get to choose their fate. Capture is a way that defines how good the footage will be. For example, if you were shooting on an iPad, it would have a small length to film because of the size of the frame and the size of the tablet. 0.9 or 4.3 aspect ratio, in which cinemas have a bigger ratio because of the screen size. Cinemas have a different aspect ratio you would expect, like a full HD quality. The display determines what you can see on the screen, as it depends what files suit the format. Bigger file and won't open on Windows Media Player. Pads are hard to update. Flash Player, as some things can't be viewed on tablets. You can access 360-degree videos on iPad. An example of this is the very advert that requires the 360-degree video. Good example of demonstrating how 360-degree video is how you can experiment. Streaming is an example of a way streaming sites such as Netflix and Amazon Prime, in which they allow you to stream content online, as it depends on the device used because different devices on technology within the 360-degree content on certain devices, as some devices aren't supported by every app, as it depends on the operating system. Copyright is an issue in case you are using work that isn't being. Ownership is important, and who controls it and whose work it is officially. It allows a company to view the clips shown in the program. But if you had clips and sent them to you being framed, they have the ownership of them. When you produce some work, you need to include the copyright symbol to show that you aren't claiming the work is yours. Also, YouTube is an example of copyright, as you give them permission for them. This part is explaining how the sound and images are used in the film to question on how they complement the film. That sound and images are used in different ways. If you were watching a film in a cinema, it would be more louder. Watching on standard television, you wouldn't have that loud quality while sat watching a film. For example, if you were watching a car movie like Fast and Furious, it would be better sound in the cinema. The sound quality can be louder, but if you watched Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows on a TV, it wouldn't have the same effect at sound levels than tablets and TVs. But it's the same with the cinema. You can always hear additional noises they have, as tablets don't have the size for louder sound. If you watch The Hunger Games on a tablet, it is hard because you are trying to listen. Have the big speakers that the cinemas have. For example, in films they use Foley effects to make it sound realistic, to make the one more powerful and realistic. It mood / atmosphere. Another example is from Spa. The Foley in a scene where a gun is used they didn't say the person died. Another source of audio from a film is when a voiceover or narration is included, because as the film has narration as a story to tell the viewers what's going to happen, explaining the story. It has dialogue involved, in which not many films do. One character in the film, and it leaves a cliffhanger on what's going to happen. Dialogue is another sound that is used in films, such as actors talking to each other. Non-diegetic sound defines the relationship between the sound and the image by using, for example, Life of Pi uses non-diegetic sound in a way that it's commenting on the events happening in the film. Diegetic sound is a sound that is not happening. It's classified as real sound. For example, Spy used to happen and it is left unsolved and the audience can feel danger as the music is tense. Also communicates by the negative atmosphere of the music and how intense it is. And the tension builds in the film and how the audience may feel about the sound. The mood's set in the way that the audience feel about the film and how it affects them. For example, The Hunger Games uses the emotion in the film as the death of the character affects the protagonist in the film. The protagonist and her rival trust the protagonist by creating an image in their head on what the protagonist is feeling, opinions of her, by the way the mood's set in the scene with her and Ro, by the way the mood's set in the scene and may create tears for the audience and suggest bravery for the protagonist.